this video, we're going to be using half-angle formulas. You know, you can derive some useful alternate forms of the power-reducing formulas by replacing the u's with u over 2 instead. These results are called half-angle formulas. And these half-angle formulas are what we're going to use. Now, it's important to know that for the sine of u over 2 and for the cosine of u over 2, it really depends on what quadrant our u over 2 lies in. That's how we can tell if we're using the positive or the negative. So we're going to find the exact value of the sine of 105 degrees. Now if we look at our unit circle, we see that 105 degrees is not one of our pieces, but 210 degrees is, which happens to be twice of 105. Which means that we can use the half-angle formula for the sine of u over 2, where u is going to be 210. So let's go ahead and let's plug that into our formula. So here we have the sine of 210 over 2 is plus or minus the square root of 1 minus the cosine of 210 all over 2. So we need to know what is the cosine of 210. And so we're going to look at our unit circle, and we see that our cosine of 210 degrees is a negative radical 3 over 2. So we can go ahead and plug that in. And so now we can see that we have plus or minus the square root of 1 minus negative radical 3 over 2, all divided by 2. And we know that double negatives give us a positive. So we can actually simplify that, which leaves us with the sine of 105 equaling plus or minus the square root of 1 plus radical 3 over 2, all divided by 2. And so now what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to do some algebra. We're going to separate our numerator and our denominator. So now we have plus or minus the square root of 1 plus radical 3 over 2, all divided by the square root of 2. And we don't want a radical in the denominator, so we're going to go ahead and rationalize our denominator, which then gives us plus or minus the square root of 2 times 1 plus radical 3 over 2, all divided by the square root of 4. So we're going to go ahead and distribute our 2, and we know that the square root of 4 is 2. So we're going to simplify now. And so now we have plus or minus the square root of 2 plus 2 radical 3 over 2, all divided by 2. And we can go ahead and simplify that a little bit more by crossing those 2's out right there. And that's going to give us plus or minus radical 2 plus radical 3, all divided by 2. And that's as simplified as we can get it. So now the question is my answer positive or is it negative? And that all comes into play as where is 105 degrees in our unit circle? What quadrant is that? So if we look at our unit circle, 105 degrees is going to be somewhere in our second quadrant. And in that quadrant, we see that y is positive. So we're going to have a positive answer since we're doing a sine function. So that tells us that the sine of 105 is radical 2 plus radical 3, all divided by 2. And that's our final answer.